You know, the question was asked not that long ago. There's a group that my wife and I both belong to on Facebook, where the question was asked, why do they call it a hat trick? What is a hat trick? And it's funny because I consider hockey to be a sport that is picking up popularity, and yet I can understand that there are people who don't necessarily understand all of these things, and the responses led to my wife turning to me and saying, "You really need to start doing some hockey 101 stuff because people online aren't always really nice about responses to that kind of thing, and they don't necessarily give out accurate information." So I said, yeah, no, I could do that because for me, I understand what a hat trick is, but where did it come from? I don't know. Some guy threw a hat on the ice and they go, "Oh, that's a trick." I didn't know. I knew there was a hockey card I had in the early '80s that explained it to me. That was on the back, the first hat trick, and I was like, "Oh man," and I couldn't remember much other than I had seen it on a hockey card, and it showed like a drawing of a player out on the ice wearing a top hat, and it was about like first hat tricks, and I didn't understand. It originated in 1888 in cricket. H. Stevenson, that sounds like a very proper British name, took three consecutive wickets in a cricket match. Hands up if you know what a three consecutive wicket means. It means he was the bowler, and he managed to get three balls in a row past the batters. That's the best way. And hit the wickets. You've got to do that. So they're the. Anyways. And it's funny because, hockey and cricket are not really related. Football, not so much. And yet there are other sports that have terminologies related to hat tricks. So sport will just co-opt the term. And hockey eventually would. And of course, cricket's really close to baseball. Except, and the funny thing for me with cricket is I can watch a cricket match for about 10 minutes, and then after that I'm like, yeah, all right, so the fun's over. I that's about it. Anything past that, and anyways, um, he gets three of them in a row, and he was presented with a hat that was bought with donations. So they had like this donation, and it sounds to me like from what I've read online that it was fans get together and they donate some money and they're like, let's get him a really nice hat. So they got him a really nice hat, and thus three hat trick. And then it shifted to hockey and it really depends on where you think it came in. 1909, the 1940s, the 1950s. It appears that it became popular in the 1950s, and that may have been when fans started throwing their hats on the ice, because I thought, don't they have a record of the first game where a fan threw his hat on the ice and everybody turns around and goes, "The hell are you doing? Keep your hat on." What really? Oh, hat trick. Oh, I'll throw mine too. And it would have been different back in the 50s because they weren't all wearing ball caps like we wear now. But yeah, the exact details seem to be kind of fuzzy, so we'll just go with the story that the Hockey Hall of Fame recognizes. Although Henri of Montreal states that he used to give out free hats to players who got three goals. The Hockey Hall of Fame recognizes the story of Sammy Taft, who was a haberdashery owner, which shows just how far back this goes. Haberdashery, it predates me. Stop it. Offering Blackhawks winger Alex Coletta a free hat if he scored three goals at Maple Leaf Gardens that night. So Alex Coletta goes in the store and he wants to buy this hat. Doesn't quite have enough money to cover it because it's before hockey players got paid real money. And the store owner goes, "All right, I'll give it to you for free tomorrow if you score three goals tonight." He did. So it became a tradition that if you scored three goals in Maple Leaf Gardens, he gave you a free hat. And eventually, fans, it appears that became a popular thing in the 50s for fans to start throwing hats on the ice. And what teams do with those hats, it depends on the team. Some teams, they collect them and display them, okay, for the hat tricks. Other teams, and it seems like I'm pretty sure it's more common that teams will take those hats that are thrown on the ice and donate them. So donate them to charity, donate them to Goodwill, kids' hospitals, that kind of thing. And they're thrown on the ice. It really depends on the location. Sometimes it's just that the ice is covered in them. I don't throw mine. I don't. And I get really nervous when a player that I cheer for is at 2 goals, and I'm looking around like, all right, who might rip my hat off? Because it's possible. It's possible somebody tears your hat off your head and throws it at the ice, because of course it could happen. And especially if you're in the lower bowl, right? It's 3 goals. That's it. 3 goals. Now, natural hat trick for people who are tuning in going, well, what about a natural hat trick? I heard that the other night. Natural hat trick is when you score 3 goals in a row for your team. So if you get the first, fourth, and fifth goals of the game, that's a hat trick. If you get the first, second, and third, or third, fourth, and fifth, that's a natural hat trick. And then I've heard 4 goals referred to as an albatross. There are terms for more goals than that, but those don't get used a lot. So I'll stay right out of it, because if albatross is that's golf. Hockey needs its own terminology. But there you go. That's where it came from. And when you're trying to research exactly where and when, it's really difficult to find exactly where, because this story here, as nice as this is, there are newspaper articles from the 1930s referring to 3 goals in a game as a hat trick, which predates this story by about a decade. So, yeah, even hockey historians torn on where it came from, how it crossed over to hockey. But I think we can all agree that hat trick is 3, and that's when you launch your hats at the ice. So there you go. Just sort of a hockey 101 thing. I'm going into Seattle anyways, so I'm going to have to start doing hockey 101 stuff too. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Your favorite hat trick, your least favorite hat trick. I know that when I watched Boston and Vancouver a couple years ago, and Marchand ended up getting a hat trick, nobody told me I should throw my Boston hat on the ice. I think Finn would have jumped onto the ice and stepped on it, to be honest. But, it's a fun thing that fans do. I always, anytime there's a hat trick, I'll close it with this. Anytime there's a hat trick, I always look really close at the ice and I go, that one's about $50. That hat's about $50. I can't believe somebody threw that hat on the ice. That one's brand new. They just bought that. Like, it's always interesting to see what's thrown on the ice. And then there are the ones that I look at and go, yeah, that's a $10 hat. That's just, I don't blame them for throwing that one out there. So let me know what you guys think. Do you throw your hat on the ice if there's 3 goals? Do you keep it on your head? At what point do you go, yeah, it's just a hat, it's gone? And how often do you have remorse where you wing that hat out there and then you go, oh, I really like that hat. I'm going to be sad in the morning. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.